Hey folks, John Ferguson Smart here. I keep seeing these posts on LinkedIn about tools that make it easier to capture XPath or CSS expressions in your browser. The problem these tools solve is that you have an element on a page which is hard to find, hard to locate. So the XPath is hard to set up. It's hard to figure out what XPath you would need. So you use this tool to capture an XPath. The problem with that is that it's a little bit like the old joke about regexes, where the developer says, I had a problem, I decided to solve it with a regular expression, so now I have two problems. XPath is the same, and complicated CSS for that matter, it's the same problem. If you say, I have a problem locating this field, I'm going to solve this problem with a complicated XPath expression. Now, you have two problems. The real solution to the problem is to look and figure out, do you really need a complicated XPath? Because often the tools will do what they can, but they can't understand the intent of your structure. They can't understand the intent of your page and know what you really need. So oftentimes it's much easier to inspect the code and figure out something yourself and get something much more maintainable. Or failing that, if you can't do that, if you can't get a locator that is simple and reliable and won't break the next time someone generates a new UI, then put it yourself. Go and ask the developers or do a pull request to the code yourself and add an element, add an ID, a test data ID is a good example of doing this to make your code more accessible. The solution to the problem of hard locators is not to use complicated locator strategies. It's to make them simpler. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Thanks for listening, folks.